Hey guys, Davey Wavy here, aka David Jakes. I'm going to answer some of your questions about the scripted series that I wrote called The Machineel King, which is streaming now on YouTube. It's the PG-13 version. There's the explicit version on Himmeros TV, of course. So you guys left a bunch of questions on Instagram. Let's dive into this. The first question is, what does the name The Machineel King mean? Okay, so the Machineel tree, which is the namesake of the resort, is a really beautiful tree. It is gorgeous on the outside, but totally toxic on the inside. And I picked that name because I think we all know a few people like that. And it's in reference to the characters who, all the actors in the series obviously are really gorgeous, but each of the characters is deeply flawed and struggling with their own shadows. What aspects of The Machineel King are inspired by The White Lotus? So, The White Lotus is one of my favorite series ever, and I wanted to use that same format. So The Machineel King opens with a death, and then across the screen it flashes 1 week earlier. And then you find out through the course of the series who ultimately is going to be the person that dies at the end. So it's kind of following the same format. The other piece I really liked about White Lotus is that, to me, all of the characters were simultaneously like awful, totally toxic, totally terrible, and also had redemptive qualities. And in real life, there aren't bad guys and good guys. Everyone is all of those things, right? Like when we watch Star Wars and the bad guy comes on, it's like dun 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 dun. Like the music is telling you he's bad, his costume tells you he's bad, the set tells you he's bad. That's not how real life is. That's what I really liked about The White Lotus, and that's what I tried to infuse the characters with in The Machineel King. Okay, what character in the story do I relate to the most? I hate that question because, like I said, all the characters are distinctly and uniquely flawed, but they're all also embodying different archetypes that we as gay men have. And there's one character who is Luca. He's a weatherman, and he's also very like logical, science-based, as am I. Doesn't create a lot of room for the mysterious. And there's a scene later in the series where he kind of has this breakdown admitting like his relationship to sex is like, no matter how big he gets, no matter who he fucks, how many men he fucks, he never feels like he's enough. Or relatable. We'll just leave it there. Which character was the most fun to write? I would say the character of Caleb, who is like the quote-unquote guru, who's at this resort to run a retreat for gay men. And the archetype that I don't know, I feel like I've tapped into a lot with those kind of guru characters or therapists or psychotherapists is that they all might have great advice, but usually they're completely incapable of internalizing that advice. Like, in other words, their personal lives are a shit show, right? So it's like, it's this kind of strange irony of like, you might be very wise and give sage advice, but also like get it together. And that character, Caleb, who's played by Jacob Ethan Dale, was really fun to write. And Jacob did such a good job with that character that it's almost, to me, it's kind of like the Jennifer Coolidge, like Tanya character from White Lotus, like very over the top. There's this really funny scene where he's like talking about getting a facelift because like this is how he sees himself, and the way that we try to like justify unhealthy things. So that was probably my favorite character. Where was it shot, and what was the craziest thing that happened on set? It was shot in Spain, like an hour outside of Barcelona, at this gigantic compound that we rented. It wasn't actually a resort, we just turned it into one for the shoot. The craziest thing that happened on set, at least to me, was there were big spiders, like all over that set. And I had a incident, I kind of stayed in this little like separate guest house and didn't have warm water the first couple days, and so I like, first day I took a cold shower, second day I was like, fuck this. I grabbed my towel. I was trying to like carry all my stuff and I didn't have enough hands, so I just bit my towel. I was like kind of holding it going across the courtyard, and I looked down and this gigantic, I have a picture of it, this gigantic violin spider was climbing up the towel. And when I say gigantic, I don't mean like this. I mean, it was like a huge spider crawling towards my face. So that was pretty traumatic. Was there anything that surprised you about the models' performances? Yes. Oh, okay, so a couple of things. All of the storylines in this, most of the storylines in this are inspired by people in my real life, whether it's people I dated or people that I encountered. And some of it, like, born out of, quite frankly, trauma. What I didn't realize was how healing it was going to be to create meaningful story arcs for each of these characters. And to pass that story on over to the actors, who would then interpret it with so much care and love and intention, seeing them kind of own these characters and like watching this play out on screen was really healing. And that was totally unexpected for me. The guys did such a good job. I know there's this perception that, like, oh, if something is porn or has an erotic element, that the acting is going to be compromised. The acting in this is so strong and so good and so powerful. I mean, there were scenes where we were like stunned after filming, like we were all just kind of like, So I hope you enjoy it. If you had an unlimited budget, what would you have done differently? So the explicit version is, I think in total runtime is probably like about as long as a feature film. The YouTube versions are a little bit shorter because we had to take out, obviously, the sex. I would have loved to have written like a full 45, like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 45-minute episodes, maybe even an hour. When it's compressed so much, it's hard to, there's character development that you want to have happen, but that you have to sacrifice to keep the story moving. And there's moments where I would have liked to have stayed with each character a little bit longer. So our budget for the whole project was $120,000. It may sound like a lot, it's not for film. Like it's just so expensive to produce something like this. So, I mean, even if we had like twice that, it would have been really fun to sit with this a little bit longer. The series has a PG-13 version, yes, on YouTube, and an explicit version on Himura's TV. What do you think people get from the erotic version? So I've always felt that when you watch a show and the sex happens and the camera kind of pans out towards like the birds chirping on the windowsill or the fireplace, it's like so much of the story, to me at least, is in the sex, it's in the eroticism. And it feels so disingenuous to be with these people. They're, you know, in whatever film it is that you're watching or TV show. But then when it comes to something a little bit spicy, suddenly you're gone. To me, that's when the juiciest media stuff can often happen. So for me, like the full story is the explicit version. That's the full arc of the characters. That's the meatiest version of the story. But it's still good on YouTube. What do you hope audiences get from the series? So the series starts with a mirror shot. It basically ends with a mirror shot, like as bookends. And the reason is, my hope is that this series holds up a mirror to the audience. And there's gonna be characters in there that you don't like at all. And often that's because there's something in that character that probably is in you, right? That you're hating something in them that you are uncomfortable with in yourself. So my hope is when audiences watch this, be it on Himura's TV or on YouTube, they see a reflection of themselves and it gives them a point of inquiry and discussion around their own shadow. The series is an exploration of the shadow self of gay men. So my hope is that when people watch it, they're actually looking back at themselves and asking questions and thinking critically. Those are my questions. Those were really great questions. Thank you guys for asking them. I hope you enjoy the series. You can check it out on YouTube. You can also sign up for my email list and get the first spicy version for free. I'll send it to you in your inbox. I really had a lot of fun making the series, and of course I could only do it because of you guys, so thank you for your continued support, and a big thank you to everyone who is involved with this project, be it models / actors and crew. Everyone really delivered, and I'm so proud of the Machineel King. Check it out now, streaming.
Hey, I got an idea. Something that might take your mind off things.
Jesus!
This is another day in paradise.
For fuck's sake. The hotel is gay too?
Don't worry, Dad.
everyone will soon know that you like pussy.
Sometimes I wonder what's the point, you know? They just show up and expect me to solve all their problems for them. It's like they have no interest in actually doing the work themselves. It's all a facade. Get my face cream.
You're not wearing this.
Dad, they're fine.
You're not wearing it.
10 a.m. and I've already reached my daily quota of gay for the day.
So what is a
Machineel. It's a tree. It's one of the most beautiful trees in the world, in fact. The Spanish would sometimes call it the manzanita de la muerte. The little apple of death. So beautiful on the outside, but completely toxic on the inside.
It's hiding the truth from others, but especially from yourself. I don't think I can help you.
You can. You just won't.
Body. My body.
It's amazing how fucking clueless you can be.
Stop!
Fuck.
Tell me you're the plug, not the outlet.
What?
You're the one who goes in.
Dad, you're literally disgusting.